with plant-forward eating patterns. How many of you know we need to eat healthy? We thank you for being here today. We want to live a long time, and our diet is relevant to how we eat. And so we thank Kelli for being here with us today. She's going to be explaining to us the importance of our dietary choices and understanding the components of our health diet and techniques that we can use to do that. So why don't we welcome her, and we thank you very much again for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Do we have our slides? Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay. So I am a regional dietitian for Aramark, which is a food service contract company. And so I have the pleasure to work very closely with our culinary teams. And it's, even though I do work in the collegiate space, I will say that heart health and diabetes and education around that is very near and dear to my heart. It's one of the reasons I got into dietetics, just considering heart disease does run in my family and whatnot. So wanted to educate myself on how to prevent that. And so here I am. So we will get into a little bit of heart health statistics, but what I really wanted to focus on is what a heart healthy diet looks like and how to make it taste good, because we're not going to eat it if we don't like the taste, right? So, yeah. So heart disease is the #1 killer in America. Stroke is #5. And there's several different risk factors. Usually, if you have heart disease, you are at risk of diabetes. If you have diabetes, you are at risk of heart disease. But smoking, physical inactivity, which is very common here, poor diet, obesity, which again, very common in this country, and then unmanaged diabetes are all risk factors. And dietary approaches to stop hypertension has been shown to help reduce that risk of heart disease. So what is the DASH diet? It's basically you want to vary your fruits, you want to have varied vegetables, you want whole grains, because whole grains do provide that fiber, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And then choosing healthy fats. Fat can be good for you. Carbs can be good for you. We just need to make sure we're making the right decisions. And so I wanted to include some pictures. So if you go back a slide up at the top, I wanted to include the Mediterranean food pyramid because they have the lowest incidences of heart-related deaths in the world. And if you look at their diet, you can see that the bulk of it is plant-forward, plant-based foods. So again, vegetables, fruits, whole grains. They don't, cut out meat completely. It's just more limited in their diet. And our myplates.gov is our version of the food pyramid. It's kind of evolved over the years. But you'll see that we encourage plant-based foods for most of our plate. I mean, half of our plate has to be fruits and vegetables, and then the other half, is split between whole grains and protein. It doesn't say meat protein, but we do want protein in smaller portions. Is that really typical of our diets here? Not at all. Usually there's a huge focus on protein, and the other focus is grains, like the wrong kind of grains. So we can go to the next slide. So again, I won't go too far into this, but we do want to make sure that we're having a variety of fruits and vegetables. I always say aim for 2 different colors, because vegetables vary in nutrients, and a lot of times it depends on what color they are. So if you have enough variety, you're getting optimal amount of nutrients. We can go to the next slide. So again, whole grain, carbs get such a bad rap, and it really needs to be about 50% of our diets coming from grains, or carbohydrates, I'm sorry. And obviously grains are a huge source of that. We just want to make sure that we are getting whole grains because we need 25 grams of fiber a day. Does anyone know how many the average American gets? 10 to 12. So that's going to cause a lot of issues later in life. So we definitely don't want to eliminate carbs from our diet because we need that fiber. Natural sugar is fine. It's the artificial sugar that kind of ruins it for the rest of the carbs. And then finally, again, fats can be good for you. We want to focus on unsaturated fats when it comes to heart health. So that's going to be a lot of fish, high in polyunsaturated fats, and then nuts and seeds are really high in monounsaturated fats. Very good for you. It's going to raise your good cholesterol, which is what we want to focus on. Red meats tend to raise your bad cholesterol. So that's why we kind of want it in smaller amounts. So that brings me to defining the plant-forward diet. So when I say plant-forward, I don't mean vegan. I don't even mean vegetarian, although a vegan diet can be plant-forward. But if you think of, say, an Oreo, that's vegan, but is it plant-forward? No. So I'm really thinking about the plants in our food. So the Culinary Institute of America partnered with the Harvard School of Public Health and created this definition of plant forward. So it's a style of cooking and eating that emphasizes and celebrates, but is not limited to foods from plant sources, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds, plant oils, and herbs and spices, and reflects evidence-based principles of health and sustainability. Okay, so I actually argue that meat can be very important to a plant-forward diet. How many of us in here eat meat? The majority of us, right? We like meat. We like the taste of it. But I think we've gotten to a point where we make meat the star of our plate, and we need to shift it back to plants. We can absolutely use meat to flavor our plants because we like it. So why wouldn't we cut that out of our diet completely? So we know, plants are good for us. They're good for our heart. Why don't we eat more plants? Well, most of us don't like the taste of vegetables, and that's okay. We just need to learn how to make it taste good, right? So we can go to the next slide. So I really love this quote. Does it taste good? If not, it doesn't matter how healthy or planet friendly it is. It won't sell. And that's absolutely right. And I think over the years, our food industry has gotten a lot better in implementing more plant-based products. There's this concept called the blended burger, and it's half ground beef and half mushrooms. So again, we don't have to cut meat completely out of our diet, but that's a really good way to incorporate more vegetables and a little bit less meat while still keeping that flavor. Can you go back one? I think I might. Okay, so vegetables are more chemically flexible. So if you think about cooking with meat, there's really only so much you could do with that, right? Vegetables are not exactly the same way. So we can go to the next slide. So rule number one, don't try to make vegetables be something that they're not. You are not going to make a carrot taste like a hamburger, but we can make a carrot taste as good as a carrot can possibly be. Maybe with, beef broth or chicken broth or something. That's what we want to aim for. We don't want to hit a meat product with a vegan product because we lose innovation that way. And it changes the goal, right? Like our goal is to like the food, not to make it a food that it's not. So we do want to cook with ingredients that we enjoy. Get creative. You don't always have to have like a steamed vegetable. Pickle your vegetables. If you think of like a garden salad, why not pickle the red onion on that? Or like char the tomatoes. Just doing those two things just enhances the flavor so much. And then when you're cooking with aromatics, that's going to be the garlic, the onion, ginger, the really good smelling stuff. Cook those first because that's going to kind of integrate the flavor and everything that comes in after that. Buying what's in season usually tastes fresher because it's usually also grown locally, so it hasn't lost flavor or nutrients in the transportation process, and a lot of times it's cheaper that way. And then the concept of using whole vegetable to root, or the whole vegetable root to top. I have a picture I'll show you guys, I think in a couple of slides. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. Yeah. You just, there's different ways, like you can grill it. Like, so the chef that told me this, he does it with tomatoes. So just like halving it and then just grilling it on both sides until you're satisfied with it.
That looks really good. I don't know what vegetables that.
Oh yeah, thanks. I actually made this. Yeah, does anyone want to take a guess at what it is? Nope. That is a rutabaga. So I didn't include this on here. I should have, but experiment with different vegetables. Like branch out. If you go to the grocery store and you're like, I've never seen this vegetable before, buy it and see what you can do with it. I actually mixed Indian spices with it and like marinated it, and charred it. And then I served it on the side of a grapefruit and cilantro salad. It was really good too. My husband actually ate it, and he's a very heavy meat and potatoes guy. So we want to realize that all of our senses contribute to how we perceive flavor. So make it look good. Just steamed broccoli every night is not gonna do it because it just looks ick. So go out. There's different color variations for the same vegetables a lot of the time. I love buying the tricolored carrots at Trader Joe's. There's yellow, orange, purple, and it looks so amazing on a plate. And then I feel like I keep mentioning mushrooms. I love mushrooms. There's this mushroom medley also at Trader Joe's. In the frozen section, it's just a medley of different mushrooms, and it also looks really good on a plate. It's not uniform, and it tastes good. It tastes very similar because it is a mushroom, but you can still kind of taste the different varieties. And then, of course, this trick I do with my kids, play with the shapes as you're cooking. So don't just slice, go at an angle or cut it julienne, and it just changes the look and even the flavor so much when you do that. So if you look at these carrots, and then if you go to the next slide, these carrots, you can kind of tell just by looking, you can taste the difference. This one is sliced, it's seasoned with dill pepper, or not dill pepper, just dill. And then there's some oil in there to kind of give it some more flavor. The slide before that, it's julienne carrots that are grilled. You can taste the difference. And then back to, so have y'all heard of nose to tail eating? So when it comes to the animal just eating the whole animal, the organ meats, the cow tongue, the everything, it's a sustainable way of eating meat. Well, we can apply that to vegetables. So in this picture here, this is up here. You can tell where the celery leaves are. So it's the tops of the celery and the little leaves. You can use that to flavor dishes too. Carrot tops are also nutritious. Strawberries, when I'm making a smoothie, I put the whole strawberry in. Oh, I thought you had a question. So we can go to the next slide. So again, cooking with grains, there's so many grains out there and they make such a good base to plant forward bowls. We don't have to limit ourselves to just rice and pasta. So go to the store, find some ancient grains, find some grains that you don't usually cook with and see if you like it. There's barley, there's quinoa, there's a lot of different varieties of grains. You can also use oats to create your own granola, mix it with some nuts or dried fruits. And then you can also, the chef tip, rice is really good when it's seasoned with saffron. Fruits can also be very flexible. It doesn't always have to be a sweet part of your meal. You can make it savory too. And again, don't always toss the tops. You can boil any kind of berry and it makes a really good base to sauce. I make a blueberry barbecue sauce and it's made up of mostly blueberries, like a splash of tomato paste, a little bit of brown sugar. It is very savory, very good on salmon too. And then citrus fruits are really good, really useful in flavoring dishes. So lime zest, lemon zest, orange zest. You can use that whole orange in a dish. And then adding dried fruits to really any side dish can enhance the flavor. And just like that rutabaga example, if you go to the store, there's a lot of exotic fruits out there that, most of us have not even tried. So experiment when you go to the store and you see those. Buy it, see how, you prepare it and cook with it, and maybe you like it. And so you can make fruit infused water. It obviously adds some flavor to water, hydrates you. I think a lot of us don't get enough water because even water is, bland. So flavor it. And the fruit, the nutrients from the fruit expel into the water. So you're still getting those nutrients. Avocado is a really good alternative for like puddings and stuff. Because if you think about the taste of avocado, it's neutral. So add a little cocoa powder and it makes a good chocolate pudding. Right? And then this is the blueberry barbecue sauce that I was talking about. It looks delicious. It's served with some tofu. And then this other picture, I just really like that picture and how pomegranate seeds are so good and it works in recipes you would not really think about, like this salad. But yeah. So cooking with legumes, you can use the water and canned beans as a soup base or some kind of broth. Add some more herbs to it, bring out the flavor a little bit. Chickpea liquid, if you pour it into a bowl, you can whip it up and it whips just like whipped cream. So add some vanilla extract and it tastes the same. It's kind of scary. It's scary. I have a friend who's lactose intolerant and got a vegan dessert, and she was like, this is not vegan. It turns out it was, but it tasted that similar. But she was worried there for a minute. And then don't limit yourself to canned beans, because if you go to the store, there's only so many types of beans that you'll find in the canned section. There's a lot of different dried beans out there that you can soak your own. So again, experiment with those beans. You can puree them and make some kind of sauce with it. It's very, very versatile. And then nuts, try roasting them or toasting them. That will enhance the flavor a lot. Add it to a salad. You can really add it to anything just to enhance that flavor. If you add it to a food processor, you can make your own nut butters without all of that extra sugar that you would get from like Jif peanut butter, for example. And nut butters can also be used as a good base for sauces. This week, I was actually in Chicago and I got roasted beets at this restaurant. They pureed pistachios and smeared it on the plate and topped it with the roasted beets. It was amazing. So yeah, you can get really creative with nuts. Huh? Yeah, purple pig. It was amazing. And so a lot of us are allergic to nuts. And so seeds are actually a really good alternative to that. You can roast or toast seeds as well. Experiment with the different seed oils out there, add some herbs. You got yourself a salad dressing or even like a marinade. Yeah, and you can add it again, just like dried fruits. You can add seeds to really any side dish. And then dairy alternative milks. I know dairy is on my plate, but a lot of us have an allergy or an intolerance to milk. It does not have to be cow's milk. There are a lot of good plant-based milks out there. So cashew milk, I actually haven't tried cashew milk yet, but it is neutral in flavor and the texture is very creamy. So it works as a really good alternative to like Alfredo sauce. And then condensed coconut milk is often used in desserts because it has that really pudding-like texture and consistency. Again, going back to the whipped aquafaba, the chickpea liquid, is also a good option. I will say the condensed coconut milk does have a strong flavor. So if you are not a fan of coconut milk, then you might want to look at a different alternative. And then herbs and spices, they're always going to taste better fresh. And it also adds a really nice visual to your plate. Adding it towards the end of cooking is going to reserve the flavor a little bit more, but rosemary, thyme, and oregano, those can be added towards the beginning because the flavor profile really, integrates into the dish. If you process them with oils, again, you can make your own salad dressing or your own marinade. And then just try different blends. If you're making an Indian dish or you want to make something taste more Indian, these are the common spices. So just kind of experiment with those flavor combinations. Italian, Mexican, there's so many different spices out there that taste, it enhances the flavor more than salt really does. But salt, I will say, most of the sodium that we get in our diets are from processed foods. So I always say, if you won't eat your vegetables unless there's salt on it, just add the salt. Just, maybe be more mindful about those frozen dinners or chips and snacks and whatnot. So a lot of people think, well, I can't go vegetarian because I can't meet my protein needs. And there's such a focus on protein. And most of us, without even trying, even vegetarians, we're getting more than enough protein. You can't have too much protein. But like quinoa and tofu offer a complete protein, meaning all 9 essential amino acids, so that it has the same protein profile as animal products. But aside from those, a plant-based protein might have some of the essential amino acids that another one doesn't. But if you combine them, well, you now have a complete amino acid profile. You have a complete protein. So the key is just to provide yourself with a lot of combinations, variety. Any combination of nuts or seeds, whole grains, and legumes are going to get you your protein needs. And then similarly, iron. Iron is, if you are a vegetarian or vegan, you do want to put a little bit more effort into getting enough iron. you do need more iron than a person who does eat meat. And that's only because the iron in plant-based foods are not as easily absorbed. But there are ways to, meet your iron needs. First of all, if you do eat iron-rich sources of plant-based, plant-based iron sources like the leafy greens, the spinach, pair it with a food that's high in vitamin C, because vitamin C actually helps enhance the absorption of iron. So spinach and tomato, it's a really great combination. Taste-wise, you got the vitamin C and the vitamin A from the tomatoes. You got the iron from the spinach, and it's going to work together to give you your iron needs. And then there are some nutrients out there that interfere with iron absorption. Calcium, polyphenols are the two biggest ones. So don't avoid calcium. We still need calcium. But you can just space it out. If you do have a meal that is higher in calcium, you can eat it an hour or two later than, another food. So that's it. Sorry, I didn't have a concluding slide, but thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I did forget to welcome those that are joining us by satellite, so thank you for being here. And we'd like to offer this opportunity for questions for Kelli. Wasn't this great?
Yeah.
Wasn't this absolutely great? Who knew? Who knew? Do we have any questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, we'll talk to Dr. Packenham and make sure slides are available. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, you can or you can't have enough protein.
You can. We get more than enough protein
Okay.
without even trying. Even vegetarians, it's just, the trick is just combining different foods, which we want to do that for several reasons, but getting a complete protein is one of those.
Are you team raw or team cooked?
Okay, let me take the microphone.
Oh,
Can you ask the question again?
I asked if she's team raw or team cooked vegetables.
I think it really depends. The flavors are so different when you're eating it raw or eating it cooked that it's just like, yeah, I don't have a preference. And if you're asking from like a nutrient perspective, like there are some vegetables where if you cook it, if you cook certain vegetables, then a lot of times you may be enhancing the nutrient profile because nutrients are often bound to another nutrients and cooking separates it. And so you're absorbing both of those nutrients versus, if they're bound, they're not really absorbing as much. So
I saw a hand. Did you? Yeah, yes.
I'm sorry I was late. I was tied up in another awesome presentation. Are you familiar with Hearts of Palm?
artichokes?
No.
Hearts of palm.
It's actually a plant. It's a heart of palm is a vegetable harvested from the inner core and growing bud of certain palm trees. Most known. Anyway, so hearts of palm, I've been buying it at Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great alternative to pasta and carbs. It's a vegetable.
Okay.
On the flavor of whatever you season it with.
Oh, nice.
So they make it in like a spaghetti form.
Okay.
They also have it in a rice form.
Nice. How have I missed this?
It's purely a vegetable.
Mm,
It's very healthy.
good. I love that. Thank you for the suggestion. I can't believe I missed that. I go to Trader Joe's all the time.
You want to make spaghetti,
Yeah.
or if you want to make some fried rice, you use the.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you.
I do the heart of palm and Percy has it as well.
Mm. Nice.
Plant-based meatballs and some salsa.
Mm-hmm. There you go. There you go.
Another question.
Mhm.
I guess I have been thinking about starches,
Yeah.
but yet and still, I have seen in a nice bowl, fajita bowl, rice, beans, and corn.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess in my mind, I'm thinking that's too much starch.
I mean, no, I wouldn't say it's too much starch, because I mean, rice and beans, that's a good protein. So no, I wouldn't say that's too much starch if you're worried about getting too many carbs because of, yeah, I mean, our calorie intakes, it comes from 3 different macronutrients: carbs, protein, and fat. So if you're getting more carbs, you're getting less protein and fat. That's not always necessarily a bad thing. You know, we just want to make sure we're getting more whole grains. So we're getting that fiber. Yeah.
Can you share with us the Rebecca?
Yeah.
How you did that real quick?
I don't remember all of the seasonings. It was and like if you go back and you see the Indian flavor spices, some kind of variation with that, and oil, marinate them, slice them, like, fillets, I guess, and then char them. So yeah.
Yes.
With the rising cost of groceries, do you have any tips or tricks to
Mhm.
still get the valuable nutrients and
Mhm.
fresh when you're a pint of strawberry is always like $10.
I know, it's
So how can you
ridiculous.
still incorporate these things, but
On a budget. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, eating more plant forward foods is going to save you money because the cost of meat is crazy also. But there's nothing wrong with frozen vegetables, frozen fruit. That's going to go a long way and it's cheaper. Canned vegetables are fine. You might want to rinse it just in case there's still like residual sodium in them. But those are good places to start. Grains are usually pretty cheap and they last several meals. So having like a grain as the base will also help. So does that help?
2 last questions.
my question was in regards to the plant-based meat product.
Mm.
What's your opinion?
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions on those. They're not always the healthiest. If you look at the ingredient list at some of these, it's like this long. So if you're avoiding meat for like the health benefit, that's probably not doing much for you. And also, again, going back to like, I don't want something that is not chicken try to taste like chicken. I'd rather just eat what it's supposed to be, chicken. So, yeah.
And the last question.
Yeah.
What's around tofu?
Mhm.
This is the best way to start.
Finding a good marinade and letting it's kind of hard to marinate tofu. What I do, I don't even know if this is like a chef thing or maybe it doesn't do anything. I don't know, but I like to think it does. But if you take a fork and you kind of like stab it a little bit, make it porous and then marinate it for a while. And then you can grill it or however you want to do it. That works. Yeah. Uh-huh.
One of my favorite dishes in Miami was the restaurant called Real Yago San. It was tofu steak. Right. And what they did with the tofu, what they did was they put flavors in there into the tofu that you would put on a steak. Season it like a steak, but also they enhanced it with mushrooms. And then put that topping over it. I get excited just talking about this. And on the add that umami flavor, garlic, onions, mushrooms, Asian sauces like your miso paste, right? And vinegar and oils, like she was at miso paste or ponzu, scallions, make a nice sauteed, combination of that and pour it over your tofu, you're gonna get a great dish that way. No.
Wow, we just learned something about tofu. Don't skip over it on the salad bar. This is absolutely great. Come on, let's give Kelly a hand. Thank you.